Do you whiff a lot and blame it on your PC? Do you rage because you can't just aim? I know you're confused and don't know if it's your aim or your PC which is at fault, so time for some reality check. Hey guys, it's Revolz here. I upload some sick guides and videos which help gamers to have a better gaming experience. So if you're new to the channel and you like my videos, do stick around and hit that subscribe button for me. In today's video, I'm going to be providing you with the best in-game video settings to boost FPS in your potato PC. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Just a note, I am only going to be showing you the in-game video settings for Valorant in this video. So if you have a Nvidia graphics card and you need a separate guide for Nvidia settings, particularly for Valorant, you can check this video out in the top right corner. Yeah, now coming to the settings, your display mode must be in full screen. It is gonna affect your FPS if it's in full screen windowed. So just keep it simple. For resolution, make sure you select your monitor's base resolution and let the aspect ratio be 16:9. I generally don't like the 4:3 aspect ratio, but if you are a CSGO addict and you want to play in 4:3 ratio, you can go ahead and select the 4:3 ratio. It might increase your FPS a little bit as you're playing in a lesser resolution, but it won't differ that much. Many are confused about the aspect ratio method, but let's clear this up for you guys. If you are using a monitor which has widescreen resolution such as 21:9, you can use a letterbox option to make sure the image is not stretched, as Valorant doesn't allow 21:9 resolution. And if you are a general user, just stick with letterbox, that would do. The next setting is to cap your FPS. Even though many say that having high FPS is better, but it's not the same when you have a low-end CPU. So yes, I have a different opinion. This setting totally depends on your monitor's refresh rate. For example, if your monitor has a refresh rate of 144 Hz and your CPU is processing like 170 to 180 frames per second, there's no point in doing that as your monitor can only process 144 frames per second. So if you cap your FPS to 144 or even 150, I generally cap my FPS to 150 as I have a 144 Hz monitor. It will help and stop your CPU from processing more useless frames and concentrate on the constant frames. This makes your image a bit better as there are no sudden highs and drops on your FPS. So I would suggest you to cap your FPS to a +10 of what your refresh rate is. Now moving on to the Nvidia low latency setting. Nvidia has introduced the low latency setting recently, and this setting reduces the input lag in the game. If you don't know what input lag is, it is a delay between your GPU sending a frame to your monitor and the monitor actually displaying that frame. So generally, if you have an input lag lesser than 15 ms, it is better for you. If you have a low-end GPU, I would suggest you to set this option to on, and if you have a high-end GPU, set this to on plus boost. I am suggesting this because using the on plus boost setting rises the temperature of your GPU, and if you don't have a proper cooling system, it might affect your GPU in the longer run. So it's better if you set this option to on if you have a lower end GPU. Now moving on to the graphics quality tab, the first setting is the multi-threaded rendering. This is a no-brainer. Obviously, I always keep it on as it improves performance on CPUs with multiple cores, and I obviously have multiple cores. So I have this option on, but it might even cause FPS drops if you have a low-end CPU. So I would suggest you to just give a try once by keeping this setting off. If it gives you some boost inside the game, you can use it, else change it back to the default setting. And then set all these quality settings to low, as there is no much difference in the game by setting this to low, and this can significantly boost your performance and FPS inside the game. So make all these settings low. And coming to vignette, vignette is a setting which just adds a darker or less saturated area around the edges of your screen, just in order to make the game look a bit more cinematic, so it doesn't give any performance benefit, so make sure this is off. And VSync, obviously make sure it's off. I don't even know why this exists in FPS games, so turning it off will help your FPS. Anti-aliasing, either you can turn this off or you can use the MSAA 2x option. Enabling MSAA 2x looks clean and clear, so if you don't care about losing 10 to 20 FPS for clarity, you can choose the MSAA 2x option. If you have a low-end PC and you need FPS, just go with none. I would suggest you that if you need FPS. Anisotropic filtering, choose the lowest setting possible, which is 1x. And moving on to the improve quality option, I haven't seen this setting like in any game before, and when I tested it out, the hit to performance was shocking. I'm sorry to say, if you're having trouble running Valorant, this is the first setting you should disable. I even feel you'll get really good FPS boost after turning this setting off, so make sure it's off. And then all the other settings, make sure it's off. I don't even know why these settings exist. So if you need a competitive advantage inside the game, you need to keep this off for sure. So there's nothing else to change. There's only stats tab where I just choose my client FPS and packet loss to be viewed while I'm playing the game. I'm pretty sure these settings will help you with the performance in game, and I have been using these for like 4 acts now, and yes, these settings are really good. So I hope this was helpful. Do leave a comment after trying this out. I just want to know if these settings gave you a competitive edge, and leave a like and subscribe if you like my content and for the YouTube algorithm which brought you here. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until that, have a great time. Peace.